All right, let's talk about WhatsApp. A pretty massive security flaw left the door wide open for researchers to scrape data from literally billions of users. So what exactly was exposed and what does this all mean for you? Let's get into it. So get this. Researchers from the University of Vienna found a flaw that let them scrape data from a staggering 3.5 billion users. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, that's more users than WhatsApp even officially has, and you'd be right. So how is that even possible? Well, we're going to get to that. The researchers themselves had a pretty chilling take on it. They said this could have been the largest data leak in history had it not been collated as part of a responsibly conducted research study. And that's the key here, right? This wasn't a malicious hack for profit. This was a security study that just happened to uncover a vulnerability of absolutely epic proportions.
So what did they actually find? What kind of information are we talking about here? In this first part, we're going to break down the exact flaw these Austrian researchers discovered and see what user data was really out there for the taking.
Okay, so here's the list. The researchers were able to grab phone numbers, usernames, profile pictures, and even the about text from user profiles. Now, Meta would later try to play this down, calling it basic, publicly available information. But as we're about to see, that label, it's a little misleading.
This brings us to the big how. I mean, how could anyone possibly check billions of phone numbers without setting off a single alarm? It all comes down to a specific kind of technical flaw. And don't worry, we're going to break it down in a way that actually makes sense. The whole thing hinges on a technique called enumeration. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Imagine you wanted to find out who lives in a city. You could literally just go and knock on every single possible door. That's basically what the researchers did, but instead of houses, they were knocking on phone numbers to see which ones had a WhatsApp account. And their method was shockingly simple. First, they just generated a massive list, 63 billion possible phone numbers. Then they just fed that list into WhatsApp's regular contact lookup feature at an absolutely insane speed, 7,000 numbers per second. That's over 100 million accounts every single hour. And for every number that got a hit, they just vacuumed up all that public profile data.
So how on earth was this even possible? I mean, shouldn't there be something in place to stop this? Yeah, there should. It's called rate limiting, and it's basically a digital doorman that's supposed to stop you from knocking on thousands of doors a second. The researchers were stunned to find that for years, WhatsApp's digital doorman wasn't just asleep on the job. They apparently weren't there at all.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. It's just my profile picture and my about text. What's the big deal? Well, this next part gets right to the heart of it. Why this so-called public data becomes so incredibly dangerous when you collect it on this kind of massive scale.
Let's just look at the numbers for a second. More than half of all the accounts they found, 57%, had a profile picture. Now remember, that picture is now directly tied to a phone number. This lets anyone with the data build what's known as a reverse phone book. Got a picture of someone? Now you might be able to find their private phone number. And then another 29% had about text, which, can reveal a whole lot more. And this is where the real-world consequences kick in. This data can be used to build those reverse phone books, which is a stalker's dream. The about text could reveal super sensitive info, political views, personal struggles, even links to other social media. The researchers even found numbers belonging to high-level government and military officials. And of course, these giant lists of active numbers are pure gold for spammers, phishers, and robocallers. But maybe worst of all, it exposed millions of users in countries like China, where just using WhatsApp is banned and can get you into serious trouble.
So you have this massive security failure. How did Meta, WhatsApp's parent company, respond? Well, their reaction pretty much created what we're calling the Great Divide. This huge gap between how they framed the issue and how actual security experts saw it.
It's like they were talking about two different events. On one side, you've got Meta's official stance. This was just basic, publicly available information, and hey, user messages were always secure. On the other side, you've got the researchers who are calling it a serious vulnerability and pointing out that this public data can absolutely be weaponized to hurt people, especially those users in countries where the app is illegal. And if you look at the timeline, it gets even more concerning. This wasn't some brand new discovery. A very similar vulnerability was reported to WhatsApp way back in 2017. When the Austrian team notified Meta in early 2024, the whole process just dragged. It wasn't until they told Meta they were about to publish their findings that things seemed to kick into high gear. The fix was only confirmed after the study went public, which means that for years, this door was just left wide open. This whole incident didn't just expose a bug in WhatsApp's code. It really sparked a much larger and much more important debate across the whole tech industry. It's about a concept called privacy by design. To really see what this means, let's just compare two different approaches. When you install WhatsApp, your profile photo is visible to everyone by default, and the ability to be found by your phone number is on. Now compare that to an app like Signal. By default, your profile is private, and you can actually turn off the ability for people to find you with your number at all. It's a fundamentally different philosophy about privacy from the moment you sign up.
And that really brings us to the most important point here. This entire mess forced a question into the spotlight that we all need to think about. Should privacy be an option that you have to hunt for in the settings menu, or should it be the default you start with from the second you create an account?
So we'll leave you with this to think about. When a platform that billions of us use every day leaves a door like this unlocked for years, who is ultimately responsible for our privacy? Is it the company that designed it that way, or is it up to every single one of us to dig through the settings and figure out how to lock our own doors? Something to consider.